Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I know it's been over a month since I last uploaded, but I am back and I'll be back from now onwards. I just found my folder so I can actually update my records. I've just been keeping a list of every single transaction. So I'm going to start working on catching up. I'm going to do it week by week. So it's going to be like a long story time in this situation about the move, about there was assault involved, there was theft, there was property damage, there was so many things that happened. There was some house upgrades and everything in between. So I'll explain everything as I get to the transactions regarding them. Some of them don't have transactions, but I'll just throw it in between. If you want to follow along on me catching everyone up on what has been happening, please feel free to click on the subscribe button. So I'm going to start with the end of April. That was the last thing I did. So at the end of April, my phone went off my account. I just want to make sure it shows here. Where was it? Phone. So the phone account was 1670. So I'm just going to work through everything and then make sure it's all fine. Then we had credit card SB at 900 that went off my account. Then we had revolving facility at 216. So that did go off. That did go off. I just want to find it, yeah. So 216. Okay. Well, there was also an additional payment that we just moved money around from that loan we took. I don't know if you remember, but we took a massive loan of 170,000 rand. So we paid an additional 5,000 to the revolving facility. And that was there. Then electricity. Electricity wasn't on. Yeah, okay, so then we would be on this. Okay, electricity went off. Okay. Then we had an expense there. Okay. Then we had a transfer from one account to another. That doesn't affect our income or expenses. I also had a dentist appointment. I basically completely fixed my teeth before we moved because I loved my dentist. Was the sweetest lady and most gentle dentist I've ever had. So that was 650 that I spent at the dentist. Okay, so then we have another one, which was also for the dentist. I went like 4 days in a row, make sure everything's fine, and that was 392.33 cents. Okay, so that one was done. Then the revolving facility, I also made a payment of 324. I'm just going to state this now. This revolving credit account is actually empty at the moment because we used it for all the things that came up. So I'm just clearing that up now. We did take the money back out, but that I will notify you of as we get to it. Then insurance was 1,266.16. That is for the house and the car and everything. Okay, and that is for 25 April. That's all of the expenses that I missed out on. I didn't have them all. Okay, so this also, wait, we did have that one go off on the 4th. So that was 90. We didn't make any payment to credit card in because the bank almost settled it. They didn't completely settle the account, but they did settle it almost, as we can put it. Then Netflix. When did Netflix go off? That goes off in like the middle of the month. I just have to find it. Netflix went off on the 18th, and that was $1.99 as expected. Then we had Google One. Where did Google go off? So Google was 39. Okay, no, that's not the right one. I have a few Google expenses. Google 39. Yes, that's correct. Okay, so that went off. Okay. We paid all the rest. My overdraft was actually settled for the whole of May, but then we used it. Dentists. That one was 0. That one was 5,000. That was for. I'm just thinking. That 5,000 went to something. Those two personal loans were actually. They actually didn't go off. These were at 0. The bank settled those two personal loans completely. We didn't have anything in toiletries. Okay, so I'm not going to add them all up on camera. I'll do that and then at the end just go through them all. I don't know where my calculator is, full disclosure, so that's mainly why. I'm just trying to get everyone caught up on what's been happening. So I'm going to also do 3 to 9 May in this video, and then I'm going to move on to another video for the rest. So 3 to 9 May was before we moved. On the 10th, we packed up everything in a truck, and we mostly did most of the work ourselves. We paid a bunch of helpers to help us with cleaning and packing and moving in general. And we still ended up doing most of the work ourselves because it was done haphazardly and no care in the world about anything. From their side, the kids were running around everywhere. The babysitter wasn't actually looking after them. But I've learned my lesson from taking advice from people on who to hire, even if they have experience with the person. This was completely a situation where we were taken advantage of. The money for that isn't included in this because we actually sold a furniture item and used that money, which was 4,500, to pay for that. So I'm going to add it here as furniture money, as an income. And that was 4,500. Well, that was at 0. I didn't have budget, so I'm not even going to include that. And that was 4,500 of income that was spent on helpers. Let's just call them helpers. Well, the opposite actually, because I ended up having to make lunch for my kids myself and everything. So that's a mess, but yes. Okay, so then we have food over here. So I'm just going to add everything in brackets. And that was 198 for that one. Then what I did was I made an extra payment to credit card SB. I almost settled it basically. I made that 14471. I've used 6,500 of that since, but that's for last week, so we'll get to it. Then cleaning supplies. I'm going to add it here. This was for cleaning up the house when we left. So that was 59 Rand. Then we had takeout. We had a bunch of takeout that last week. We had takeout for ourselves, for the helpers, for everyone involved. So takeout, the first one was 145.18, plus we had the same day 461 as a separate transaction. Then I had an expense which I have to refund to myself from my business account, and that was 511. for supplies that I won't be able to get here where we live now. I'll have to have them couriered over, and that's expensive, so I just bought them. Then moving boxes, we ran out. Big surprise. That was 776 and 13 cents. Then we bought meat of 1125.80, and that was for our going away party basically. Then I also paid 270 for supplies, basically disposable plates and all that. I'll just include it in there because there was also some drinks in there. Then we had electricity. There was 250. I also had airtime, and that was 100 rand. That was actually to phone the insurance company and let them know our moving date, so that was necessary. Then we paid for the people who moved the car, and that was 4,886 and 35 cents. So we paid the people the day before they came to collect it. Then we had alcohol, which isn't in general something we use, but we did supply some when everyone came to our house to say goodbye. Then we had vaping, and that was 280. Then we had another takeout. Okay, I'm just going to do that, and then I'll just add a new takeout. And we will put in, it was 292 rand 90. So something that happened when we moved here was that we found out that the previous owner was beaten by her own son because she sold the house. So we had to change locks and everything the first day we got the keys. It wasn't very pleasant. The house was left in such a mess. As I've noted before, the previous owner was a bit of a hoarder. So yeah, it wasn't pleasant moving into this house. I used an entire bottle of bleach just to clean the shower, an entire bottle. And I also used steel wool that you clean pots with to clean the shower. It was the nastiest thing I've ever cleaned in my life, but at least it's cleaner. We were actually, when we got to the house, we had a bit of buyer's remorse when we saw it for the first time. Once we cleaned it out, we started feeling better about everything. Like, there's a ton of work on this house, but we'll get to all of it. We will get to all of it. Okay, then I had to go back again and buy more boxes. And that was 552 rand this time. In the end, we had 2 boxes left over, and it was fine. Then I had more groceries, and that was 86.84. And then I also bought cleaning supplies of 1150 before we left. Then I'm just going to add another line for food as I'm running out of space, and that was 255 and 97 cents. Okay, then I bought a birthday gift for my partner, which was a drill. So it's going to be useful it's been useful since the day we got it. But that was 2,000. It's been so helpful, actually. We've used it for a ton of stuff, taking things apart and putting it back together, and even um, to fix up the house. So it was well spent. Then I got a credit from my insurance company because we changed addresses. So we got a bit of a discount. Okay, so we got 24 Rand and wait for it, 52 cents. So it wasn't a major change in insurance, but we did get some back. Then we were all sick. So we had to go to the pharmacy. Oh wait, I wrote medical in here. So, oh no, wait, sorry. This was just for my checkup and to get my prescription for family planning. Then we bought, vaping went up again because we bought more things for it, sorry. And that was 95. So in the end, I'm just going to add all of the totals in, and then I'm going to do my monthly sheet where everything's summarized to give you the totals of everything. It just makes more sense to do that now, thinking about it. Then Google, I had additional charges, and that was $24.99 and $36.99. So that's done. Then we had school supplies, and that was $151.95. Okay, so we are done with one page out of 6. Okay, so then I had to renew my website for my business, which I don't use for business anymore, but I still have the domain and I want to keep the domain, so I paid 99 Rand for that. Then what was this for? I'm trying to think. I had a massive expense, I can't think why. Okay. Oh, this is for the moving people, for hiring. We had to hire a bakkie, so that was 5355. A bakkie is a truck, for anyone who doesn't understand the South African terms. And then I had to buy more airtime, so that was airtime again. And I think this was just to get a hold of everyone who was helping. Then we had insurance that went off, so they credited us for the last day that we were insured, because we changed the day. And then we had to pay an additional of 129.23. So technically our insurance is more expensive now than it used to be, but yeah. Then we had clothing. I needed to buy the kids some long clothing, and that was for 39.93. So then we have another food expense of 658.09. And that was all our expenses for the up to the last day at the older house. I will update everyone with the totals. I'm so sorry I can't do anything exactly the way I want to today, but yes, I'm just gonna do it with all the videos for the next, I don't know how many videos, I think 5 or 6, and then I'll just update everyone with what's going on at the end with more of a story time situation. So moving out was bad at the old house. We didn't get our full deposit back. They had an issue with the shower glass that was faded. I mean, it was not clear because it had a bunch of scratch marks even when we moved into the house. So there was nothing I could do about it. I tried polishing it and everything. It didn't work. And then there was also an issue of water damage, which was caused by the shower leaking, which we reported and waited 3 weeks with a water leak dripping from the second floor to the ground floor, which caused a bunch of water marks on the roof and everything. So they had an issue with that. There was so many things that they wanted to find fault with. I mean, I can literally tell you about the garage floor, which had patches of cement on it. The reason being, it was like that when we got there, but there was more when we left, because if you moved your car on it, it would crumble and just disintegrate under the car. So I took a vacuum cleaner, cleaned out all the debris and sand and dust in it, ended up making the holes much bigger than they were. It would literally just go straight up the vacuum, like there's the floor gone. So we had to fix the floor, which we did. I don't know, I really don't know, but then they fined us like 20% of the rental amount for moving out before the end of the contract, which is in October. So yeah, we got fined, which is illegal. I've looked into it. It's illegal to fine someone. The only thing they are allowed by law in South Africa to charge you is a cancellation fee, but that is only for provable expenses, such as advertising to get new tenants. They had new tenants before we left, so the advertising cost they did charge us separately for. They charged us to wash the carpets, which we were fine with. We knew that from the beginning, so that's fine. When we moved in, we knew. But the whole 20% thing made me very angry because it's illegal. I want to report them, but on the other hand, it's like 3,000, 4,000 that we were fined with. We left in the middle of the month, so we didn't even stay out our notice, but we did pay for the whole month. And the lady who did the inspection was all like, I'm going to find out if we can waive the 20% because you are moving out earlier. They decided, the board said, no, we're not doing that, because it was like a rental board that own all the properties in the complex we lived in. So we went away very unhappy. Actually, this wasn't for the move. This was to cancel the internet. That was the other thing, cancel internet. We are not covered by our provider that we used to use. We are very happy about that because they sucked. But that was to cancel the internet. I just remember what it was all about now. But that internet cancellation, that 5,355, it was not planned. We had no idea it would be that much. Honestly, I think if we stayed out the contract, paid out the full contract, yeah, we could have been connected for the next 6 months with that amount, because our internet was 1,000 rand a month, so just under. But that would have had us connected for like 5 to 6 months. We now pay more for internet, but we have a bit of a faster line. Yeah, it was all a mess before we moved. It was even more of a mess once we moved. But we'll get to that in the next video, and I hope you have a great evening. If you want to follow along, please feel free to follow by clicking subscribe. Leave a like if you like the video. Have a great day. Bye.